And here you'll see I've got the name of the image. What I really want there is for the image itself to display, and that's going to take a little bit of a trick. If I scroll down a little more, you'll see there's my capital E in expertise, and there's the text that I didn't change. So how you display this really depends on your database, whether you want there to be some explanatory text like special notes before this kind of data, or you just want to remove it because name before the name seems obvious. So let's go back and do a little more editing to that template. Again, I need to click on the little arrow and I have to choose Edit Templates, and I have to make sure that the template that I want to work on is selected. This is the item template. Notice too that I had an extra space there that was affecting how things were displaying on the page. Let's put the image at the very top of this template. To do that, we'll select the photo label and delete it. And I can delete this extra space. Now I'm going to place my cursor up here where I want the image to appear, and I need to bring in the image control. If I scroll up a little bit, you'll see there's an image control here, but make sure that you're in the ASP.NET controls under Standard and that you're bringing in that image icon. Click to select it and drag it right into place in the template. Now you see I have an option to edit data bindings. Under bindable properties on the left, make sure that image URL is selected. Then make sure the radio button next to field binding is also selected. And from the drop-down, choose Bound to Photo. Finally, in the Format field, you want to type the path to your image directory. In this case, it's images/agents, because I know that in my images folder, I have a folder called agents that has all of my agent pictures. After that, you want to type /0 curly bracket. That instruction specifies that each of the photos in that directory should be entered in place of the 0. You don't have to worry about custom binding for this. Just click OK. Now let me just show you over here. In my images folder, you see my agents folder. That's the path that I just entered. And that /0 curly bracket is what's going to ensure that each of my images is displayed on the page. So let's close that back up. And let's come back down here. By the way, all of these little menus, when you want to close them, you just have to click on the little arrow again and they'll go away. There's one other thing we can do with this image now. We can select it and we can apply styles to it just as if there were a graphic here. So remember, we made a style called image right and a style called image left. Let's apply that image left style to our image here so that this information will wrap up beside it. And while we're at it, let's just finish editing this so we're consistent in our use of capitals. And again, select End Template Editing, close it by clicking on the arrow, save the page, and let's preview and see how that looks. Hey, our images are back. Much better this way. Now let me just reassure you at this stage that if that was the first time you've ever set up a data connection and used this kind of template to format content on a page, that was a lot to take in at once. Bear with me and just keep following step by step. We'll repeat a similar series of steps a few more times in these lessons to create the rest of these pages. And after you've done it a couple more times, it should start to make a lot more sense. So let's close this. Come back to our Agents page. Let me just show you a couple of other things in this menu. If you choose the Auto Format link, you'll have the option of automatically applying format to your data in a number of pre-designed options. You'll also find a property builder. Under the General option, you'll see some formatting choices for header and footer. And then you see more options under Format, and finally the ability to add borders. All right, so that's the basics of how you start adding data to a page from a data source.